What's up, guys? This is Nick, the head gymnastics coach with Brute Gymnastics. We're going to talk a little bit today about some of the ways we make our program and share with you guys some stuff that we think is some high yield and useful information for your own training. So we're going to start off with just going over how the basic way our program is organized. We came up with the idea of treating the body like a machine, which isn't too novel of an idea, but it's a good base of where we start for how to organize our program. So if you think of a machine, it has gears, okay? It has a motor, and it needs fuel, okay? So when we're talking about our bodies, okay, by analogy, the fuel is endurance. You learn how to write. So endurance, but basically, all the VO2 max, lactate threshold, and all the stuff that we think about with aerobic capacity and general systemic capacity for the body, what we commonly call the engine, and all these things in competitive fitness. So, and then the motor is strength. And of course, this is, for us, it's mainly body weight strength, but you're working strength whenever you're doing competitive fitness and Olympic lifting and with all different sorts of modalities. But for me, for fitness gymnastics, for body weight fitness, we think of mainly push, okay, pull, core, and then we also do a little bit of lower extremity, but that's not the majority of what we do, okay? The majority is pushing, pulling, and core strength. We break these up even further: pushing, inverted pushing, non-inverted pushing, pulling into straight arm pulling and arm flexion pulling. Core, we'll break it up into hanging core strength and support core, or resisting movement versus actively mobilizing the core and moving the core. So that's, this is all included in our program. This you mainly get through your CrossFit, but we do very much so include a lot of this progressively, logically and linearly build it over time. But then we also have the third part of the machine, which is the gears, okay? So the gears are the way that the machine moves, right? So you can have a machine that's full of fuel and pumping away and has all kinds of strength in the pistons, but if the gears aren't tuned correctly, it's not a very efficient machine. So we want our machines to be efficient. And so within that, we have mobility, okay, and flexibility, the ability to move our joints in the way we want them to. And then we have static positions, okay, and learn how to write. And then dynamic, okay? So basically, we're going to talk about this real quick. The static is the ability to hit different positions that you go through in order to accomplish movements, basically whatever you want to do from a fitness standpoint, whether you want to do a pull-up or a handstand push-up or whatever movement it is, you're going through different positions. The same thing with Olympic lifting. You're going through a defined set of positions in order to achieve a movement. So we are going to learn to recognize and be efficient in those positions, and then the ability to go between those positions effectively. So to go from one position to another is dynamic skill, okay? So to go from an arch to a hollow, to go from a tuck to extended, etc. All right, but right now, for the purposes of this, we want to focus. We could do hours of talking about all these different things, the way we build our program, but we want to focus on something very high yield, something we can give to you guys in something in a short video series that's digestible. So we're going to talk about static, okay? Because this is something that we have found. We've been doing this for 3 years, or as long as I've been coaching CrossFit, I've been doing it. I've been with Brute and Bruce Barbell for 3 years. We've been doing this, and we're seeing incredible results, and we're starting to see more people in the competitive fitness community do it. And so you may see people posting about doing different holds and things like that. So we want to share with you guys some of our thoughts about it and ways that you can actually incorporate it, right? So let's start off with why, okay? So why do we work different body positions and work on holding? So a quick example is you might see somebody that's posting they're holding an L-sit, right? That's probably one of the most classic things you see in competitive fitness is somebody holding themselves up, extended, pushing down with their arms on some parallettes, with their legs extending out in front of them, knees extended at the legs, bent at the hip, okay, into an L position. So that's an example of a position. So why do you do that? So one is the all-important issue of capacity, okay? So if you are able to hold yourself in that position and you're able to increase the amount of time you can, you're increasing your amount of being able to hold time under tension. And so say take another example is a handstand push-up, right? So if you want to be able to do 40 strict handstand push-ups, then there is a certain amount of time in which your body is under tension or either in a handstand or between a handstand and a headstand, and your body is under tension. And so if you can increase your ability to hold yourself in a handstand, you are increasing your ability to hold yourself under tension and thus increasing your capacity for something that's tested, such as a handstand push-up, or in the eventuality that something was tested in competitive fitness like a handstand hold. Right? Unknown and unknowable. We want to be able to do anything. So, so time under tension and increasing our capacity. So, and then we're talking about efficiency. Okay? And this is how those gears are moving and not grinding against each other, and we're not wasting our movement and wasting that all-important energy. And our body has only so much ATP and only so much lactate that it can allow to build up, so we want to be able to move as efficiently as we can to get the amount of work done and get the scores we want to get if we're competing in fitness. So why is being able to recognize the different body positions more efficient? Well, a couple of reasons that are very intuitive are that you're able to recognize and get into that position. Like if you said, I'd like to be able to do a swinging muscle up, and you are a kipping muscle up and you swing yourself in there, and then you've never been in the bottom of a dip before, you're not going to know what to do once you get there, right? You're flinging all your body weight up there, and then you're doing one of these and then you fall through. So the more you practice and you are stable and you have those accessory muscles locked in to where you're stable in these different positions, the more efficient you're going to be in going between these positions. And then that brings us to, so we can recognize, okay, and stabilize ourselves in the different parts of these tested movements. And then that transfers to learning new skills, okay? So next thing you know, if there's another skill, like say you're already good at being in the bottom of a dip, and then somebody wants to do one of these ring front rolls or a ring back roll, then that's a component, that position is a component of both of those skills, right? And so now you can work the individual components of that skill, and it transfers to new things, and it helps you learn and adapt. So let's just go one more real quick today about like what exactly we're talking about. So let's just, with some examples, let's take a handstand push-up, which I already mentioned. So the bottom is a headstand, okay? And the top is a handstand. So that's easy. Now we go back to here, so we say, that's a way that you can start defining your goals and saying, okay, well, what's something I want to be better at? Okay, I want to be better at a handstand push-up. What are the positions that are involved in that? And there you go. Okay, you just think of the different things that you have to go through to for that movement. And let's take something a little more complex, like a muscle up, and let's take like a strict muscle up. Okay, so you have a hang from the rings. Okay, then you have a top of the pull-up. All right, so you have to pull to here. And then you have bottom of the dip. Okay, so you've gone from here to here. So this is your static positioning, here, and then your dynamic skill is going from here to here. All right, and then we have ring support is pressing out. Okay, so all of these things, if you want to work a muscle up, part of your training program can be incorporating holes like this. And then coming up later on in our series, we're going to talk a little bit more about what some of our different ways that you can implement these things in your program. So see you on the next one.